Hello, hello, hello. Hello.
Hello to you, Elizabeth.
First of all, thank you for coming. For those of you who are here in person, and for those of you joining us via Zoom, thank you for logging in. Tonight we have a very special guest, and it's Councilman Tom Zuppa. As most, if not all of you know, Tom was the previous president of JSPCA, and now he's our Ward C councilman. So you're right here. You sit right here, sir. We have. Oh, here we go. We're trying to get another one, but we can't start with this one. Hello, hello. Oh, we have one here. So eventually, when I turn it over to you guys for your questions, you can just line up right there. And then for those of you joining via Zoom, just chat it. Type your questions in the chat, and then George will be the one reading them for you. And we'll kind of, get through all the questions tonight. So we have time for the full time. So, there's no rush. Thank you, Councilman, for committing for the whole session. Yay! So why don't we go ahead and get the party started? I will ask a few sort of broad open questions just to get the creative juices flowing, and then I'll open it up to you guys for your own questions. And then Tom, you and I can just move on the mic back forward. And so, Tom, a lot of us obviously know you. But for those folks who are new to JSPCA and might not know you, I'm wondering if you could just introduce yourself, do a little bio. What was your campaign all about? What did you want out? What are the issues that you care about?
Absolutely. Thank you, Fitz. Let's take a big round of applause to Fitz. He's doing more than a great job with president. I didn't have to be president during a mayoral and a council campaign with so many candidates running. So JSPCA and Fitz did a great job of organizing that. So as Fitz mentioned, I was president of this association and still a very proud member. I was president from 2023 to 24, I believe. I took over and really meant the focus of my term to be the same thing as this association, which is clean, green, and safe. And I tried to add a component of advocacy on top of the information that we gathered for our residents. And I just kind of transferred that into being a council person. So I hope you see that we're, what I ran on, which was clean, safe, and more affordable, is or will about to be taking shape in Journal Square and throughout Ward C. I try to be as accountable as possible, as accessible as possible, and certainly as transparent as one can be. And we're in our Ward C office trying to change the culture, not only throughout the city, but also the way you're used to having a Ward C council person. So for me, that means in-your-face advocacy, in-your-face accessibility. And we started that this past Saturday with our Ward C ward walks, which I'd love to have every one of you in this room watching from home join us when we come to your neighborhood or throughout the ward, which is the reason we're doing that is because of the interaction I had on Saturday where a neighbor was walking her dogs, said, "What are you running for?" I said, "Nothing. I want to run it. Let you go." So what do you want? It's not about what I want, it's about what you want. We're here because you only see us once every 4 years or around election time. And we were knocking doors, asking questions about how we can help. Are there any specific issues? Because just asking do background. I'm a lawyer, but I did a prosecutor to start my legal career. One of the reasons I left the prosecutor's office was because everything was reactive. Crime had happened already, and we were responding. We weren't touching upon the social justice impact, the reason why crime was occurring, and that ultimately led me to this association and then to running for office. But that's the reason we're going to be continuing those boardwalks at least twice a month for the next 4 years, to hit every neighborhood multiple times and highlight what we're doing, but also try to find solutions.
Excellent. And we'll certainly amplify those walks. So so that's great. I'm kind of curious, what's the typical day in the life of a Ward C councilor? I see you all over the place through social media, but if you could talk about the nuts and bolts of what your typical day looks like, that'd be great.
I think Bill asked me, how is it? Or is everything I asked for? Let's put it that way. And more. The 15th will be our 3 months in office. Mayor Solomon and the rest of the council, who were new, came in January 15th. We were met a week later with a massive snowstorm, a minimally good to subpar response. right? We learned a lot about our city's capabilities from the prior administration. And then what we were met with a month later, a bigger storm. Thankfully, it was warmer and snow melted there. So, I mean, a typical day could be, again, responding to concerns around the ward. But I try to be proactive too in tackling some of the issues that I took notes on, and I'll talk about in a bit. We're tackling, planning for the next week's council meeting with legislation or resolutions. So it's a mix of doing the feel good things, honoring great people in our community. Shout out, did you know George we participated in a crossword puzzle competition this weekend? And one of our prior members, Jamie, is killing it on Jeopardy.
Yes.
Yeah. Jamie Van Glen.
21 straight times.
Yeah, he actually was a member.
Jamie was a member of JSQCA and actually hosted one of the affordable housing meetings.
Oh.
And it was about, he brought in a speaker from Philadelphia about how art changed Philadelphia into a more productive city, and that's kind of focusing on how General Square is becoming more artistic and focusing on progress here. There's a lot, honoring great people here. Last one I honored was the Golden Door Charter School, the only school in New Jersey to get nationally recognized for its ESL program, which is highlighting our diversity here in General Square throughout Ward City, obviously Jersey City. Honoring Sea Heritage Month. So those are all the feel good things. And then, of course, responding to what I'm sure we'll get to, which is our budget crisis.
And this last question, it's like probably the easiest one until we get into the nitty gritty of things. But are there any votes that you're particularly proud of having cast so far?
Trying to get anything that was really earth shattering. I voted no on the claims the last meeting. So if anyone follows along with the council meetings, the council votes to approve money that was essentially already spent. So for example, the administration, someone ordered chairs, desks for a new office. The invoice came in, they pay it, the council approves the money. I thought it was a little excessive how much money was being spent for one particular office. This person didn't deserve the new furniture. But we're going to be belt tightening the way we expect to. I think the city needs to spend more time focusing on what's being spent and what's being approved. So the vote was meaningless and it was going to pass anyway. But at least saying that, making a point to say we need to cut down spending was something I'm proud of doing.
So I think that's a great segue to now, the nuts and bolts of tonight, the budget. And so obviously the mayor hosted numerous meetings with different wards to discuss the budget and soliciting sort of, ideas that people may have and also just input for what people cared about to ensure that that was preserved in whatever final decisions get made. Have you had any conversations with the mayor about the budget? And if so, is there anything that you can share regarding where his thinking is today and any plans sort of going forward as you understand?
Sure. So I'm sure we all know we're in a $250 million budget deficit, right? Another vote I think I'm proud of is how quickly I was able to do due diligence on our new healthcare program for the healthcare plan for city employees, which cut $30 million out of the budget. One of the largest number in terms of numbers, one of the larger reasons why we have a deficit is the prior administration failed to properly budget for healthcare costs. And at some point you would wonder it borderlines not just negligent but reckless behavior, but that's for someone else to investigate, perhaps a city council committee on special investigations. We'll see how that goes next meeting. But my role is how do we get services to our ward, which has been left behind for so long, while in a budget deficit. And that requires tremendous work between me, my office, and the mayor in his office, and the administration just trying to redirect services. So one thing I ran on, which I'm proud to say came back pretty quickly, is the Division of Neighborhood Improvement. It's a division of the Department of Public Works, where workers literally go block by block, which is something that many of you heard me speak about years ago, cleaning the street. And it's the streets that are not within these special improvement district zones. So for example, they did New York Avenue by 5 Corners. They're going to do 139, the entire stretch from Boulevard to Palisade, hopefully this week, if not next. And that's just redirecting resources that are needed without any additional budget expenditure. We haven't spoken, the mayor and I have not spoken yet about what comes next but I'm sure we're going to see the budget presented to the council soon. I hope to serve, if not chair, the budget committee. The lawyer in me wants to ask a lot of questions of department directors about where the money's going and makes sense. And I still believe there's quite a bit of waste and fat around the edges there that needs to be cut before I would vote on any kind of budget.
Thank you. You obviously are very familiar with the mission of JCC, right? We're all advocating for a cleaner, greener, and safer community. My next question is on safety, and most of, if not all of us, heard about the recent shooting at Corbin and Pavonia. Are there any details there that you can share, and any steps that JCB is taking to just ensure that there's safety, in the community?
Yeah, so I'll share what I can. So mostly what I've already shared, which is that fact there was a daylight shooting. The victim is in stable condition. And because the perpetrator is still at large, I won't say more about whether the police know his identity or not. I should say his identity going forward. So that's an intersection, an area that we've heard quality of life complaints for a long time. Many of you who live there know that. I passed information along to Captain Ozlowski from the West District on some of the activity there. I anticipate seeing more of a police presence, more patrols. And I had conversations with the new public safety director, Director Ambrose, who comes from Newark. New York's very different than the Jersey that we know today. But one thing he's changing is less fixed posts, meaning not having a police officer or officers in the car at a certain location, getting them out into the community, which is more what we call community policing, and then having more cars on patrol driving around. So with the help of the county, we have 30 new officers, total 28 new officers going to the police academy. We anticipate they'll be back on, when they graduate in August, they'll be assigned to the patrol unit, which means responding to calls. And of course, the mayor's announced fixing the 911 system, make sure everyone's more responsive. There's a lot of work to do in the city that was wrong before and that we're revamping, but I know I'm committed to helping the mayor on these public safety issues.
Excellent. And the last question that I'll ask, and then sort of open it up to you guys on the green front. Sure that there's going to be other specific questions on specific projects that you'll hear from the crowd this evening, but sort of from the 30,000-foot view of things, what steps do you plan to take in order to advocate for more green spaces in the ward?
Yeah, as I'm sure people have questions on development. I'll get to that in a second, but one of the many things I ask for when new projects come before me it would be what kind of green space component do you have? What kind of open public space are you offering? Which I'll be, it's limited for a lot of them. I walked by the journal building, and there was a couple dogs laying in the little green patch of grass there, which was nice. But we want to make it the new buildings more open, friendly, and green space and open. Openness does that. So that's the focus. The two big ticket items, of course, would be the Bergen Arches, which this group is very heavily involved in. We have our friend there in the back who's leading the charge there. Thank you for the update the last couple meetings. Our relationship with the state has never been better, and I hope we'll have some positive announcements soon. I won't overstep, but there's progress there. And of course, having community able to go into the Bergen Arches would be game changing. And of course, Courthouse Park. We're still not giving up hope on Courthouse Park. The county has not yet moved into the new courthouse, which is a fight between the county and the state judiciary on issues unrelated to anything that we as a community would have any impact on. But I do meet monthly with Laura Moss from the Courthouse Advocacy Group. I meet monthly, and the same meeting is with the county executive's office, the planning department from the county, and also we have representatives from Jersey City. And my main goal is getting to the point where they can turn over the building to the city. I know it's a commitment of the mayor's office because he requested of Congressman Menendez to put in money for park construction. We asked for, I think it was $3 or $4 million from the federal government to assist with Courthouse Park. And that's something I hope to have a shovel in the ground on by the end of this term.
Great. All right, so the floor is yours. So if you have questions, please line up behind the mic. And for those of you joining via Zoom, as I said previously, just type in your question, and then we'll read them out. We'll read them out loud. So just type them in.
Yeah, the Hilltop will be meeting on Wednesday concerning, two developments. You know, one apparently 42-story right next to or maybe on top of the Summit House. And also down where the old motor factory is. Have these been approved yet by the planning board? And personally, I think they shouldn't be. And what can we do to, how should I say, have an impact on that decision?
All right, great question. So, let me just take a step back on development generally. So, unlike how development projects were approved before I took office, the new process is this, and I made it known to the attorneys and developers who I met with already, I anticipate meeting with, and also to the planning department, is they come to me, they show plans, we go through things I am passionate about, and I know communities as well, such as affordability, the plan for retail, the green space component or open space component we spoke about, and also I prefer projects that are union built. That do add costs to the projects, but there are so many. There's such a underworld of bad dealings going on that you wouldn't believe, and that could be a different session I'm here on. So I do like projects to be built union at least a certain percentage. The second, so that's step one. Second part is then they come to the community, similar to coming to the CAP committee that Chris chairs and so many of you serve on. That way the community has feedback before a project goes to the planning board or to the Jersey Redevelopment Agency, because once the project gets to that stage, there's very little community can do. I know Rick Ray and you've been to a lot of Hilltop meetings, but by the time some of those meetings took place, the job was already done. You know, the community got upset. There's some feedbacks. Not all projects, a lot of projects were different, were altered because of the community feedback, but I want to make sure community's heard, even on as of right projects. And this is, and developers have actually complimented this process because instead of the back and forth, the issues are hashed out in advance of them going to the planning board. For example, where Boulevard Drinks is, that's something I insisted on them fixing before going to the planning board. But that was done through this process. The Hilltop meeting on Wednesday will not be taking place. It coincides with the Department of Health meeting on Christ Hospital. So it's going to be rescheduled either to April 21st, 27th, or 29th.
When you talk about the Hilltop meeting?
Yeah, the Hilltop meeting is going to get moved. But for those two projects in particular, one is 500 Summit Avenue. It's next to the Summit House at the Newkirk House. They presented a project that is 44 stories, I believe, 44 stories. No retail, 700 units, 40% of those units are studios, which is not meeting the need for housing for families coming into Journal Square that I prefer. And when I asked about the no retail decision, the developer told me, well, the market's not there for it. I said, respectfully, you're like wrong. So quick aside, sometimes the one of the last debates before the election, what do you want me to remember for? I didn't take no shit. That's fair, honest, and I don't take any crap. And obviously, Journal Square is the heart of the city, literally, physically. We need retail, we need people coming in, we need places for people to go and shop and eat and enjoy. So there is a need for retail. That site is also subject of a decades-long litigation, and there's a settlement agreement. So that will not be heard by the planning board at tomorrow's meeting. They have not met with the community, and we have to work out the other issues that I'm referencing. But yeah, that's a project built as of right though. They're built completely to what the zoning would be. So the feedback there would have to be what, that's why we're having these conversations early with the developers to maybe build in retail or make more units that are studios with one or two bedrooms, or 3 bedrooms. The other project was the one at 180 Baldwin, it's the side of the old macaroni factory. There was a project approved already. There was 6 towers that was the planning board approved for October 20 of last year.
October. Yeah,
October, right?
it's October. It was quick.
Yeah. So I think there was a community meeting sometime before the election in November. They didn't get anywhere. The project got approved.
A week before the approval meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, that's why I have this new system in place of having open communication. But the developers reached out to me and they're presenting a new plan. I hated the 6 tower plan, just because it didn't offer anything to the community. There wasn't any open space, no retail, but, you know, if you're gonna build a new development in an area that, for example, the factory there is, it's an empty hole, right? There's nothing there currently. You're either gonna build a new community or you're going to enhance the one that already exists. So if you're building new over there, then you're gonna need retail, you're gonna need the green space for the community. And all this new project, it encompasses some of those things. So I'm more open-minded to the project than I was. I like it better than the last project, but it is a significant density.
Well, how?
Yeah.
High how? I mean, how is it doing?
That's a good question. I think it's 47 stories.
I mean, the traffic on Boulder and Summit is already bad to begin with, but adding more to it, I can't imagine how it's gonna work.
Yeah, so the project on Baldwin, is 20% affordable. It's 300 affordable units,
It's cool.
100% built union with Jersey City labor. And again, inspired tax credit. Plus, again, they're adding retail, a green space that's, on the corner closest to the Hilltop Island section. So I would keep an open mind to that project.
And Councilman Zuppa, I first just wanted to just thank you for just being so responsive in your first few weeks in office. It's just so refreshing. My question tonight is about clean and the Journal Square mission. I wanted to ask you about how can we hold, just for some context, the Journal Square Community Associations, this Green Committee has put together, Clean Committee, sorry, has put together a list over the years of certain problem properties that keep being the ones that are the repeat offenders. Renee and I have done cleanups, I've done a cleanup with you. And I think for the most part, our neighbors take great pride in where they live, but there are those few properties that are over and over and over again for years now, not holding up their end of keeping their properties clean. And it seems from my perspective that the summons approach is just not working. There are too many warnings being given out. So what could, you have a legal background, what are some remedies that you think you can explore to help hold property owners to greater account so we can live our mission of being clean?
Yeah, that's a great question. And thank you for the first part too. So, if you don't already have my cell number, please take it before we leave. I'll give it to you. I'll say it out loud at the end. I have a great staff who covers me and I try to be responsive. I may respond to you at 2 a.m, but I'll respond. So on the clean front, you make a good point. So most of our property owners are responsible. Some of the out of town landlords or some of the ones that aren't caring about as much. Big issue are locations that are say the future development. And we saw that during the snowstorms too. I contacted Chuck Harrington as a lawyer that everyone knows, right? He presents to our association often. I said, Chuck, if your client plans to develop this property, but can't shovel the sidewalk now, I don't trust the kind of property we're gonna see built there. That delivered the message, right? It was clear about too sweet. So because it's a limited number, I think upping the fines is a way to do it. And instead of doing $100 here, $100 here, that doesn't add up to much over time. Maybe give one warning for a new property owner. And if they have the warning in place, hit them with a $500 to $1,000 fine the next time, that'll send the message. Before coming here, I was at the council special committee on rent investigations. I asked questions of Director Richardson about essentially the process from filing a summons to abating the issue. And what we learned, the council learned, and the community might still be going on, there's no connectivity between I issue a summons and what happens next. And so I requested a report from our law department that oversees the prosecutor's office, municipal prosecutor's office. How many summonses were issued last year? What number of those resulted in guilty pleas or fines being issued? How many were dismissed? And we'll go from there. So it starts with that kind of audit. And then I think we can start pointing where the issue is.
Hi, Tom. Thank you for being here and also thank you for your continued support with the Magnolia Association conversation with KRE, the developer of area in Pavonia. As a parent of a young child, I wanted to highlight 2 issues that are extremely important to me. Traffic enforcement is number 1. I cannot stress how many times I've seen bad driver behavior, stopping on crosswalks or running red lights, yet I've never seen a policeman correcting such behavior, at least up until this point. I'm glad to hear there is an effort to correct that, but I wanted to mention raised crosswalks because they naturally enforce traffic laws. you must slow down in front of crosswalks and in front of these raised crosswalks. We have a lot of development coming to this neighborhood, so maybe this could be something they could contribute. And number two is about construction laws and noise pollution. Current ordinances limit noise levels, but construction is exempt. Despite being the most persistent and disruptive, especially in a dense area like ours. The noise is often from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., which means that the people suffering through it in residential areas are the retired elderly, parents with very young children, and those who are homesick. That is not fair to them. There are methods for minimizing noise, like putting up tarps around pile drivers, but construction companies don't use them because they are not compelled to by the law. I support development and we do need more housing, but how we build matters. We have an opportunity to do this in a way that respects and protects the people who already live here. Thank you, and I hope you will consider these ideas.
Thank you. Great question. Can I share what happened with 808 Bologna?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So 808 Bologna is the site of the one of the two towers going up, which would have then housed the Pompidou. It's right behind the Lowe's. They were pile driving and caused cracks into what was the address on Magnolia? 272?
278 and 282.
286. Yeah. And an email from me to I replied all. I did, honestly I'm not sure. I didn't remember who exactly was on the email. I didn't really care. I replied all, and the project was shut down. And it's still shut down. None of the residents are making sure that their building is safe and the residents are safe. I spoke with the developer. I spoke to the people from KRE. I said, if you want to get back to working, make sure you fix these issues, and I believe they're working with you and your neighbors to do so.
They are much more diligent than before you were involved.
Yeah. So changing the culture is not the easiest thing in the world. A couple weeks into my term, I got a call from a developer who got shut down because they were doing deliveries. Actually on Skillman, they were doing deliveries off hours. And so they called and said, I have to meet the councilman right away. So, well, you're talking to the councilman. What can I do for you? Like, well, come by and we have an issue. We scheduled later that day or next day, whatever. Go there. Like, well, I'm shut down. Yes. Like, well, can you fix that? Well, what'd you do? So, oh, we had deliveries off hours. Like, well, don't do that. I'm not speculating what they were used to before, but I do think a lot of corners were cut citywide. I'm not just saying for my predecessor, but citywide, and developers are used to working a certain way. Long-winded way of getting to your answer. Same thing with developers over here. Like, well, I don't have to do this. I don't have to build affordable in certain zones. I don't have to build with union. So you don't have to because you're ever told to before. And so that's changing as well. Walking over here, there's a car that was backing into a spot. It wasn't a spot, the bike lane on over here on Step. I just like, should I stay and argue? Or I texted parking enforcement. Hopefully by the time they get the issue ticket, but then I walked a little further and there was another one. So change is coming, but it's going to be slow. But we're working on it. So I'm happy to look into these issues of how to alleviate noise complaints, and also the race crosswalks. Working with our new director of infrastructure, Andy Kaplan, on a variety of issues with making our streets a little safer, a lot safer. Traffic enforcement, we will see the motorcycles back out. If Councilman Bojan says nothing good about me or Mayor Solomon in the next 4 years, the motorcycles are back. They're going back. We hope that they'll focus on. And we have a bunch of that. If you go around Journal Square a couple times a day, you're gonna recoup a lot of money.
Right.
For tickets issue, yeah. Also, we identified certain roads and intersections that are problematic. The courthouse over here, Bologna Summit, Newark Avenue. It's a horrible intersection. So once the city hires an engineer, I hope they'll look into that. They should also look into Broadway for slowing traffic there and make it safer for people to walk. Similar to, I believe I wrote this in a response to the shooting. Was our streets belong to you? They belong to all of us. They don't belong to gun violence. They don't belong to people speeding or cutting the light. They belong to people getting from point A to point B safely, efficiently, and without any issue. So that's what we're working towards.
Just super quick, we could get a question in from our Zoom audience. That'd be great.
So I got two construction questions. The first one is, do developers have a time frame that they must build what is in their plans? And if there's no extensions filed and the land is still sitting vacant, what can the city do to get the land back?
It's 2 years, but I have to check that.
Right. And second question,
I can hear you.
Hear me now? It's working? Not that quiet.
I'll repeat the question.
I was saying, does construction have to happen during school hours, especially during drop-off and dismissal? It creates so much unnecessary congestion and headache.
So the first question was, the developers have a timeline from which they have to complete their projects? The answer is yes. For time for approvals, you can't sit on your approval. I think it's 2 years. But I will check that and get you an answer. Second question was, does development and construction have to take place during school hours? That time frame, and you get connections to the access. That time frame does encompass the time when it's permissible to do construction, because we do try to avoid weekends as much, or they try to avoid weekends as much as possible. But it's something, if there's a particular project that's near a school, we can look into that. If you live near Golden Door, which I mentioned earlier, the principal is working on the traffic congestion around drop off and pickup times. It's starting to come off Kennedy Boulevard. They're aware of it. They're working with me on a solution.
Hi, first and foremost, I wanted to commend you on your involvement in the community. I'm Facebook friends also with my hometown's councilman in New Jersey, and I'm only receiving for like photo ops when like a new business opens. So I didn't really know what like a councilman does until I started seeing what you're involved in the community, so thank you for that.
He's putting compliments here. I didn't.
Really thought it was just photo ops. And then I also wanted to seek your advice on something on the intersection of St. Paul's Ave and Tennelle. There's 2 signs where there's no trucks allowed into that street going into St. Paul's, but there's no actual sign as you enter St. Paul's. I have photos of it I can show you. I wanted to know what I can do to try to get a sign put up there, whether that's just sitting at the intersection taking photos of trucks, because there's so many that go through. It shakes the building sometimes. So I wanted to see like what you suggest I can bring like a better plan to you.
Have you met your neighbors, George?
No, I have not met anyone.
Okay.
And it's ton of leaks.
At the meeting, there's also any trucks going up St. Paul's at all. Another issue with enforcement. Yeah, we need to start taking in the trucks that do that. They cut through and no one has said no or on them.
It could also be Google too. Google would be sending trucks down Van Ripen Street onto Highland.
Yeah.
And we researched it. Google was sending people behind the VIP, so it's a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll work on that too. I'll put a sign request in there.
Hello, Tom. Good to see you again.
Too, Bill.
As the first president of this association, I just want to remind everyone that in October, the JSQCA will be celebrating the 10th anniversary of its first public meeting. Of course, some of us, including Renee over here and myself, had been meeting privately for almost a year before that. And it's Renee who deserves credit for coming up with the idea for clean, green, and safe as our motto.
That's nice.
My question for you, Tom, I was delighted to hear you say you want to be on the budget committee. And I do hope you will be chair of that committee. But how confident are you that the new city administration is taking the steps to ensure sound financial management?
That's a great question, Bill. So far, pretty confident. One thing, well, so this is going to get to it too, but if it's earlier, one vote I was proud of. One vote I did that is confused a lot last week was the quote unquote increases for directors. So let me just clarify that, and then we'll get into budget, sound budget practices. So the only change to the ordinance was the word reasonably. Instead of paying consistent with, it's reasonably consistent with. I took that to mean that it gave the administration cover for paying directors less than other towns are paying them. Now, if I'm wrong, and we start seeing salaries that are far above Newark and Patterson, which are the other 2 quote unquote first class cities in New Jersey, then we'll know that the council has to pull back a little bit on that. Our new CFO is supremely qualified. His name is Bill Vaccaro. Very dedicated professional, came from NJ Transit, which, as you know, had their own budgetary difficulties when he was there, and still do, and it still does. He's really pulling back the curtain on a lot of the practices that got us to where we are now. But for me as a council person, it's trust but verify. If I believe Mayor Solomon wants the best for our city, that's why I supported him during the runoff election, and I appreciated him during the November campaign, leading up to the November campaign too. But it's our job as a council to have a discerning eye, which was not always the case in prior council terms. So I'm confident, but I'm gonna make sure that, again, when the budget process goes on, if we start seeing increases or higher salaries, and meanwhile, what workers that are really doing the nitty gritty every day aren't getting paid, that'll be a problem for me. For example, we're gonna have a new rec director soon. The baseline salary is $190,000. I don't think we can pay a director that much money when our rec programs aren't free for our kids.
Mhm.
So that's something that I'll be bringing up to administration when that comes up too. Not that these people aren't qualified, not worth it, but we're in a budget crisis. So for example, the mayor's doing his part. He didn't take a salary. I don't take health care for the city, so the taxpayers aren't paying for health care. So we'll see, but yes, it's a trust but verify process.
Welcome.
I didn't even get the first question.
Because I was waiting to see what questions would be.
Every time the first question, every year, for 2 years, I was president. I'm offended.
Hey, that's my Brooklyn. My question is it dovetails. As a senior citizen, it is extremely hard for me to get to meetings. I'm on a lot of email lists, so I get info, what happened at the council meeting, what happened here. What can be done so that these meetings can be hybrid, because people can't get there? They work, they're seniors, don't want to go out. Getting downtown from the Heights is like trying to get to Chicago.
Mhm.
And this dovetails with your colleague Jake. Every other week before the caucus, he holds a meeting on Sunday with the community, either by Zoom and in person, to discuss what's going to be on the council agenda and to get feedback. So do you plan to try to implement something like that? And definitely all the meetings, because when the planning meeting was on Zoom during COVID, it enabled my community. I live up on Troy and Summit, and they want to tear down the 2-family house and build a 5-story, 16-unit building and put a driveway on the corner. We mobilized the community. We had 70 and 80 people logging in. And this went on for about 4 or 5 months, but we were able to get the community in and we defeated the project. So this is 2026. The technology is there. It needs to be, because as you can see, we're not full. Maybe you need childcare. Maybe you just can't get there. So what are you going to do so that hopefully by the end of your term, these meetings will allow more people to participate using the technology that we have today? And I don't mean Microsoft Teams, because it sucks.
I agree. Being sucks. I support hybrid meetings. I think the council should be there in person. I don't think as a council, I don't think I should be able to call in via Zoom to cast my votes if I were to be absent. But I do agree that similar to what the county does with their commissioner meetings, having people be able to participate to voice concern online. Yeah. We're not at a point yet where we're having thousands of people come to City Hall or want to comment. So I don't think it really change the meeting structure too much. So I support that, and I'll check in with my council colleagues on a resolution for that. And yes, for my meetings, things I promised, and hopefully the theme that you're hearing today is I'm trying to deliver on my promises. It's having monthly meetings, having a monthly update, and doing caucus meetings similar to what Councilman Gilmore and Efros do. So this Sunday we'll go over the agenda on Zoom. We're restream too. We're working. I'm not very tech savvy. We're working that out. So we're gonna stream that. We will have monthly meetings my community office at 654 Newark Avenue, which will be live streamed as well, whether it's Zoom or another.
How can we get the links for that? Like for the meeting you're gonna have on?
Yeah, candidly, the holdup is that the office isn't ready for tap meetings yet. It's it was where the campaign was run out of.
No, just any meetings you're gonna have. How can we get the link or get on an email list to get the links?
That's what we're working on too. So so we're gonna have a monthly newsletter, which I promised that's coming out. My staff was working on that. The Sunday before the council meeting, we'll have a caucus meeting, monthly video updates. And then we'll be inviting directors and other city employees to the monthly meetings at the office. And I'll be sure to get the links. I'll share them with Fitz. I'll share them with the board. They're on social media.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll follow up with the councilman's office as well to make sure we have the links and then through our socials we'll vocalize it. Because I know a lot of you guys follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or on the newsletter. So stay tuned.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
You got an online
Is
question?
there a question?
I have a question. Sure.
No, you're good.
All right. Got to push this button.
I think it's her.
You're good. It's great.
Right.
So you actually asked my question when you first started talking, because when the mayor was here, I asked him how we were going to get all the things we didn't get for the last 12 years with the budget deficit. And he said you were going to find better ways to do things. So I think that's a great answer. I'm hopeful that some of that will happen. But I want to know, how do we get our ask in the pipeline? I mean, traffic is a huge, huge issue and we all know it. So I'm not going to address that because it's a big problem. Zoning, I think zoning in Journal Square is not conducive to long-time residency. And I think that is a negative thing for the community at large. And I discussed this with Chris at the CAP meeting. We're talking about it, but so I have like a little ask, and I've had it for 13 years. We have been trying to get trees planted on Tunnelly Avenue for 13 years. I raised money 3 years in a row, and every year the city turned it down. This is back in the day when you had to pay for tree pits. And then when COVID came along, they just threw tree planting out the window completely. But here's my thing. It's not just the trees are nice and the trees improve the air. Trees change the look of a neighborhood. So I want to have alleys of trees in General Square, just like they have downtown at Essex Street and Dudley Street and Warren Street and all those places that everybody thinks are so nice to walk in because they've got nice trees. And so after 10 years, our prior councilman finally got us like half a dozen sticks toward the end of Kennedy Boulevard. But you know, they're growing and they look nice. So I want a tree alley from JFK to Charlotte Circle on Tunnelly Avenue. And I want to know how we're going to get that.
All right.
That's a great request, Mary. I support that. So earlier I mentioned fighting over about the furniture that was ordered for City Hall, that's $5,300. That's money that can go to trees.
Yeah.
That's
Clean up,
or what was that?
well, clean up down at the shop.
Sort of thing, yeah. So every dollar is going to count. If we're looking at a say $25 million demolition of the administration building to build a park, every dollar will count. And so is getting buy-in from the people developing here too. So if they're developing closer to the square, they've been committing money to the park, which is the right thing to do. We can have them commit to building to trees and to.
You know, planting trees on Tunnelly Avenue is not an expensive ask. But when I talked to the forestry director about it, I'm going to say 2.5 years ago, he said, well, we didn't have enough room in the sidewalk because we need a 5 by 10 tree pit. There are not 5 by 10 tree pits anywhere in the city except where the new buildings are. And last year, they planted trees along 139 in 2 by 2 tree pits. So don't tell me we have to have a 5 by 10 tree pit. It's just an excuse not to do it.
Yeah, and speaking of a tree alley, so obviously we're gonna have some development where Boulevard Drinks is that wrap around the building. I've seen ideas, proposals for development at where the VIP diner is that's purchased by a private owner now. Same thing with the Goodwill building. So, assuming that there's gonna be development there, I'd love to see a JFK that's tree lined, well lit,
Would be beautiful.
small retail. Yeah,
Okay.
that's fair.
Appreciated your comment on the chair and being forward-looking on the budget. And question, do you have access to the budgeted amount for the year by month? And then if there's a variance per month? So for example, if the health insurance budget is millions of dollars short in 1 month, a red flag. If it happens 3 months in a row, maybe it's a more severe indication of a problem. Do you have the ability to see that going forward as a council member?
So far what I've gotten, we've gotten okay, this is the temporary budget appropriated for 6 months of the year. It's not a line item of specificity that I would like, so I requested from the business administrator's office, from the VA, exactly what's going where. And the directors are supposed to do exactly what you suggest, which is flag a problem when it comes up. But I think council needs to be responsible for doing that, at least adding an eye to it. So I requested that access, but I don't have it yet.
Okay, and follow, is that not just standard budget practice in municipal government? I appreciate the amount you're trying to educate us all on how this works, but it seems like there was a pretty big gap in this process recently.
Yeah, so before I'm critical of what, Councilman Solomon or councilperson Ridley or Gilmore would have known going, prior to this new administration, I want to participate in the process myself, see how much how much information we're given, how much I can request, how much I have access to. I can tell you the way the city operates, just because of we're a strong, what's known as a strong mayor structure, where the mayor runs the city through the administration, and the council is responsible for not drafting the budget, but voting on it, and not direct oversight necessarily over city operations. I'm sorry, it's oversight over city operations, but not. I can make requests to directors don't answer to me. So that there's a little bit of a disconnect between the information that we want to have as a council, what we're legally entitled to. And we see that in the budget process.
Great, and then similar question in terms of just tracking progress with the city and, whether it's the courthouse or parks or next steps with Christ Hospital or, 4 and 4A zoning. If there are timelines laid out that things are supposed to be achieved in, do you have visibility into a reporting structure that says, this is more specifically why, for example, the courthouse is delayed, or more specifically why, some different key element is held up in the city department?
I do, I can publish that, yeah. Well, I'll make it my responsibility to get that information out to the public.
Okay. Thank you.
That's good feedback, thank you.
It's just give me 1 second so we can get in that question. Zoom.
Actually, I had my own question
You go.
first, and then I have one on Zoom.
Okay.
The first was going back to Boulevard Drinks in that building. I was under the impression that they were looking for an exemption to do trees. I think they were supposed to do 13, and then they said they wanted 2. I could be wrong, but if that's the case, I'd appreciate if we could push them on that. And
Yeah, absolutely. I had a conversation with the developer today it was about Boulevard Drinks, but it was about, I know JSQ, where's Chris? JSQCA had comments for the developer of that site that went to planning, I imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, so I told the developer, that in addition to my concerns, we need to address these from this association before going to planning. So they reached out to Tanya to get those comments today. The tree issue was one of them.
Great. All right, then the online question is, I'll do it in the first person as well. I appreciate your support for the Franklin Avenue bike lane, but our prior council person was notorious for standing in the way of street safety projects. If the infrastructure department recommended a street safety project that entailed another one-way conversion, would you support such a plan if that furthered the city's Vision Zero goals, even if some members of the community oppose such a plan?
So the question was Franklin Street, actually. I used to say Franklin Avenue all the time too, it's Franklin Street. Would I support another one-way conversion if the infrastructure department recommended it and would do overall go to the overall safety of the city? Typical lawyer answer, I say it would depend. It would depend on the project, obviously. One thing with the Franklin Street issue pre-2026 was there was no communication between public safety and infrastructure. And so Jake and I took office, and our first thing was, what communication have you had since then? And the answer was none. So we had a meeting in the Heights, it was advertised, we got feedback, we invited public safety to go. And still, there was no communication between departments, which the city has worked on, and to the mayor's credit, has ensured that would not happen again, where the departments are not communicating. So I would imagine, I would always support, I would always support a safer street. But again, without knowing what street it is or what project it's, and I know what board said, then yes, of course, I would support street safety. Remember,
The city spent thousands of dollars, probably tens of thousands of dollars on the runoff election last December. And participation in runoffs typically falls way below the general election. As an alternative, would you support and would you introduce an ordinance for ranked choice voting in the city, which would be much fairer to the public? It would save the city money.
yeah, my answer before going through one would probably, well, let me see. Having gone through the process into early December through the Thanksgiving holiday, I would much more likely to support ranked choice voting. I don't know the process to get that changed. I would have to look it up to and so it's something I would look into.
As I tell Tom privately all the time, it's so great to have him in this chair. I assume that you would have talked tonight about any movement on the affordable amendments if you had it. So still waiting for the planning department.
If I can, I got some great numbers. I was waiting for you to ask the question. So this information is a little old, but let me give you a date on it. And this is due to the advocacy of this association. So this is as of late February of this year. There are, because of the zone, the amendments that this association pushed for 2 years ago. 155 affordable units have been approved. 27 have been completed. 68 are in construction, and 769 affordable units are currently in review by the planning department.
It's like a rent on those units.
Good question. I'll find out, but
But you're still waiting for Tanya on her reaction.
yes. So, to answer Michael's question more specifically, so the council passed my resolution to directing the planning department to look into the 2060 plan, which was an authorizing resolution that was required. They're looking into the amendments that we had discussed previously. I know Tanya was away, but when we get back in the groove, so to speak, I'm gonna loop in the JSQCA Affordable Housing Task Force with Tanya, and then we'll talk about moving things forward.
I want to open a new front. I don't know if this is known now, but whether or not there are single family homeowners and owners of the smaller apartment houses that could be well served by a housing rehab program for this neighborhood. I think some surveying has to done because they're low and moderate income and questions. And this may well be something that then ultimately has to go to the state since it's not realistic federally. But long ago, the community community block grant, when it first came out, 40 or 50% of the money was used for rehab around the country. Over time, as the money got smaller and city needs got greater, more and more of it got split up between the many different uses that are allowed. And at the moment, I've been told that the city as a whole only has the money to rehab 25 properties a year, which is miserly. For this neighborhood, I think it might be very useful to at least start surveying what might be helpful. But it also may have political implications if the homeowners and the owners of smaller multifamilies had resources to upgrade their buildings, they wouldn't be as anxious to sell to developers, or they wouldn't be as negative to developers if they weren't feeling that no one was helping them. So I would urge the preliminary beginning of investigations on that part of it.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Hi, Ray Schwartz again. Yeah, concerning, want to talk about the ranked choice voting, it's my understanding that Jersey City and at least 500 municipalities in the state have already approved it. The next step, my understanding is Trenton has to allow them to go ahead. And I'm wondering maybe we should just sort of talk to our congresspersons, Brennan and Bala, to see where we can move that forward. But as far as I understand, this Jersey City's already had said we could do it.
The last council vote did a resolution
Yeah.
in support of it, yeah.
Yeah, but Trenton has to approve it for us to go forward.
That sounds right, yeah, I think there's more steps that we take, but if the association wants to invite our assembly people.
And state that.
And if they send it to me.
Hi, Sabina. The 2060 question reminds me of something. In the original Journal Square 2060 plan, in the update version, I also see as of September 2025, there was a plan to have a streetcar going through JFK Boulevard. Do you know if that's actually going to happen and what that's going to look like?
Probably not. I would say, yeah, there was an idea I saw a few years back of a gondola going from downtown through Journal Square. I actually like that idea, yeah.
Great idea. It's a great idea.
Yes, it is the plan, yes.
I just read in the paper, I think they approved a bus rapid transit
Yes.
study.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you know about it.
That's the county approved the bus rapid transit study for Kennedy Boulevard, which is in desperate need of moving things faster. Safer, but more efficiently. Yeah, and the streetcar, we great idea of moving people. One thing I should update is that VIA, I met with VIA's representatives after the council meeting last Wednesday. I think we'll see some alterations in what VIA does if it continues to operate. So it's operating at a deficit, as most public transit does, except that the city is responsible to fund it, and it's operating at an $8 million a year deficit.
My God.
So I don't know if VIA will continue to
Certain corners.
exist. I know the representatives, because he was respectfully critical of a quote I made about VIA not serving the people it's meant to serve, which is seniors and the lower income residents. If sending me data, if I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong, or that's not what I believe is happening with VIA. I think people who are able to order an Uber are just ordering a cheaper ride.
Yeah.
That's not serving the low restricted income residents who we need to serve through VIA.
Another online one. Stand up so people can hear me. So it says there's an immediate need for street repairs on West Side Avenue between Sip and Duncan.
Yeah.
Costing residents a tremendous amount of money to fix their cars. This member has contacted previous administration, Lavaro, city engineering department, and your office, and still no progress has been made. Are you aware of any plans to repair that portion? And if not, can you try to move it up the list?
Yeah, so I requested that the administration requested hotspots for the pothole repairs. So we've seen some of the difficult areas in Journal Square and throughout Ward C. West Side's the next frontier there. So yes, there is a plan. I'll get a time frame for you. I'm not sure when, but after that, we have to repave the roads too. They just did potholes at my request in front of Summit in Baldwin near the municipal courthouse.
Yeah, that's a war zone.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah, that's like Mars.
Councilman, a question about taxes, property taxes, which will likely go up amid the budget deficit that we're facing. We are also year after year seeing major hikes from the Board of Ed. And I know earlier this year, Assemblywoman Brennan published an op-ed in which she spoke about how the current school funding formula by the state really hurts Jersey City because we have these nuanced, unique needs. And also do want to underscore, of course, those property taxes, they hurt homeowners, but they also hurt renters because that cost is passed on. As a council body, what can you all do to help revisit that school funding formula that leads to major property tax hikes year after year for us?
Yes, so for the school funding formula, that's obviously through Trenton, but one thing I said during the campaign was that the experience of a student in Greenville is probably more akin to students in Patterson, which gets a lot of state funding, than it is to a student going downtown, given the resources that our downtown schools have. The reason I say it's because it's based on income levels, right? And we see a wealthier concentration of individuals downtown no, like not completely across the board. The downtown that we do see in Greenville. So the formula hurts Jersey City because our neighbors that don't have that concentration of wealth are being hurt by the fact that Jersey is a growing and affluent community. I mean, the council would pass a resolution asking the state to look into it, but I think the best course is, well, twofold. One, making sure our state representatives are on it, which I know they are, two assembly people who I support and are doing a great job already. Certainly, Assemblywoman Brennan, who is a friend and ally of our association. Your association. I'm still a member, but I just I'm on the board, so our association. And two is really diving into who runs for school board. I know it's a thankless job and it's unpaid, but to even sniff at a 17% hike.
Yeah.
Students are not getting that quantity. And teachers are fantastic, but you can't ask residents to do a 17% hike without looking into who's on the school board, who's running it, and who replaced them. I'm pro more small D democracy. So I was initially opposed to any kind of city control over the school board, especially given our prior mayor. I thought giving more control over everybody, including the school board, was a bad idea. There's a hybrid approach that Senator McCurgy had recommended. I'm willing to look into that. But we really need really good people and dedicated people to run for the school board. There's an election this November. If anyone wants to run for school board, let me know. I'll not door them.
So great segue and great question. Because just like in education where we're talking about reductions in state aid over time being put on the back of the local tax burden, VIA is kind of a symptom of that happening in the transportation realm as well. So, and I would just ask that as we're kind of talking about the future of VIA, we just remember why the city kind of started VIA in the first place. And NJ Transit for decades was slashing bus service over time. It was hitting the south side of the city the hardest, and other parts of the city as well. Bus routes were being canceled and all that stuff. So, and that's just another instance of the state kind of reducing their service to the city and the city then stepping in at a cost to kind of fill in the gap. So this is another opportunity as we're talking to our state representatives to say, hey, we need more help from the state to provide service to our citizens, our residents.
Yeah, that's great, Chris. I'm not unaware of the fact that VIA was a bold plan to fill the gap. We just have to pay for it, right?
Right.
Yeah. And what the city can do is make sure our infrastructure is built, or what the county can do is make sure our infrastructure is built to make help NJ Transit succeed.
Right.
We were told that if you make certain one-way conversions and put BRT there, that they'll run more efficiently, buses will run more efficiently, and then add service. It turns out one of those bus lines is only one bus that goes on that. I'm talking about with Summit. Doing a conversion there with BRT would not actually help NJ Transit. But we should look into where we can assist. Kennedy Boulevard's a great example where we can assist NJ Transit with their service.
Right.
So yeah, I'm not saying we gotta get rid of VIA completely. And neither are they. As a company, they're looking into ways to be more efficient.
Right. But even if the state can pitch in to shoulder the burden of providing those fill in the gap services, because we're a growing city and those transportation needs are going to continue to grow with us.
Yeah, that's a great point too. And one thing the mayor said, I'm sure you heard him in his budget address, and this goes to Chris's point of it, is Jersey City is an economic driver of the state.
Right.
I mean, rents are going up because we don't have enough housing. People are moving here. People are investing here. We have movies and TV productions going on right next to the Kango Lofts and the studios there. Project Runway film was fantastic. Great set. But we have economic opportunities here. So our budget difficulties should be short-lived if we are responsible going forward. And so we'll see. We'll see. Public transit always operates at deficit. The federal government, by state agencies like PATH can stomach that. Jersey City can't stomach an $8 million a year deficit, right. But the state can, right? Because they have other ways to fill the gaps. So I'm happy to speak to Assembly people, Brendan Bala to work on. That's good.
Okay, I'm practicing for my city council meeting when I want to talk publicly, but anyway,
We're inside a couple times and.
I am
So, yeah.
chicken out. And my shirt's not ironed, so what a mess. Anyway, I was at this past meeting with the mayor, yourself, I think I was two meetings, and the mayor said that, this is about money. The city of Hoboken collected 20 million last year I'm not too sure if it was parking tickets or just fines in general, and Jersey City collected 4 million only. That's pretty scary. Have we gotten to the bottom of that yet? Because somebody or a bunch of people were not doing their jobs.
Yeah.
And has anything changed? Because, I'm not gonna bring it upon myself and say, oh yeah, taxes are gonna increase, but if we fixed a few things, maybe the taxes might not increase. That's one, but we'll go ahead with.
Yeah, let me start with that one. So, yeah, so when I said I was here during our debate, our Ward C debate, I said, and I stand by this, there are amazing people who work for our city. But you can't blame some people for not wanting to live up to the high expectations that they may have started with when no one above them was watching.
Right.
No one above them was living to that high standard, right?
Mhm.
So, things like parking enforcement,
Yes.
our meters are broken and they don't repair them. Our permanent parking system is down, right? It's not being repaired. The enforcement is not where it needs to be. All things that we don't need more money to fix those things. We can fix it completely. Let's take India Square as an example for parking. India Square is built on people coming in and out quickly, efficiently, shopping and going. Unless you're eating at a restaurant, you're probably not staying there for more than an hour. The jewelry store, the grocery store, you're in and out in 45 minutes to an hour. So parking there should be 1 hour max and should be a constant turnover. That money should go right back into our ward for improvements.
Mhm.
The businesses will benefit because they'll have more constant foot traffic stores. For those that park and overstay, will have to take the parking tickets, and those will add up. And then the money we're getting from revenue will go back back to our community. If that happens citywide, which it should, that's a lot of money that's being left on the table.
Right.
So we have some inspectors who've been emailing the council about parking routes that were missed by inspectors or enforcement officials. So we're working on that. There's a food truck that parks by outside Golden Door, used to park on Huron Avenue. Now it parks on the sidewalk. I reported that twice, that's 2 tickets.
Mhm.
None of them trying the food truck, but you can't block the sidewalk with a chicken in the truck. What's that?
He parks overnight, he never moves that truck.
Yeah, so again, I'm sensitive to the fact that I don't want to hurt someone's business. You gotta do everything the right way. You may get a warning or two, because I'm new, you can rely on that. But same thing with the auto body spot on Central Avenue. I went and spoke to the owners. They're nice to listen, get complaints, you gotta move this up. And they did. 5 minutes later, they moved the cars. But if they're back blocking, then that's when you send enforcement, right? So I mean, everyone should be held to the same high standard. And the benefit will be for the city that we'll get that revenue coming in.
Right.
So I had a revenue control meeting. I asked for a report from the municipal prosecutor, like I mentioned. So we're seeing that 1,000 summonses were issued in the last year, for example, and 60 of them resulted in fines being issued. Then we have an issue here.
Right. The other thing is at that same meeting, and you kind of alluded to this earlier, that maybe there was wrongdoings that went on in the past administration. But you said it, Mayor Solomon said it, that it's not your job to, like go after them, or I don't know what it is, but it's another office. Maybe that needs a higher law enforcement office. Is that it? Like, we're waiting for somebody to be like, oh, there's some crazy stuff happening in Jersey City. Let's go take a look. Like, if you guys say it enough publicly, is that when we're gonna get an outside investigation, or is that falling under the audit with the state? And I know that it's not your job to find out what happened in the past, but where is that now? Like, maybe I'm not explaining myself so well, but
Yeah, so it's not our job to prosecute
Right.
wrongdoing. It's not within our wheelhouse, our legal wheelhouse, right? But we can investigate. So Councilman Navarro and I are talking about an investigatory committee into good governance, past practice. Also looking forward, I think there's a good, for my oversight. I have to look into the focus of that particular committee, but a lot of residents emailed us, they want us to do a 5 or more council person committee, which would be a sunshine meeting like any other council meeting, to investigate past wrongdoing. But I don't see a reason why we can't do that. Forward thinking too.
All right, and I don't eat hot dogs, but the rumor about the Boulevard drinks being moved or whatever, do you know anything about that?
Yes, so
That's it.
what I don't like about the current plan is that they don't have space for Boulevard drinks in the current plan. Their argument, to paraphrase, is, well, we're building 3 years from now. How will we know they're still going to be there? And we saw the same thing with Ergolanos. Ergolanos is a community,
Right.
not just because I like tuna fishing, eat lunch there. It's a place for community. And that's, and, you know, I did a lot of events there because there's nowhere else to do large scale events in our ward. That's a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
That developer, you know, I wish I took a more active, I wish I was in office then. I think the conversation would have gone differently. But so with Boulevard drinks, they're the size of a closet.
Yeah.
I love it, but
Yeah.
they don't take a big footprint up. So it's an easy fix. It doesn't need to be a fight. So I had a conversation today with the developer, because they're not yet owners of the building. It's pending approval. He can't reach out to Victor from Boulevard Drinks. But Victor can call him, so I made the connection.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so what I was working on was finding Boulevard Drinks a location currently move into without closure, so that they stay open.
Mhm.
I can't force contracts or deals to be made. It's not good for them. I can't force it. I can just help with the opportunities, and then we'll try to get them back into the new building too. There's also an idea of putting them into the Lowe's, but I don't think that's going to work out.
No.
I'm going to talk about the Lowe's too.
Yeah.
Don't ask me yet. It's in my notes.
All right. Well, thanks. And it's nice to see yourself and Arjumand and that young guy out there shoveling, sweeping, and everything else.
Yeah, orange one, yeah.
Yeah.
So funny story. Well, not funny now because it was freezing that day, but I said, Arjun, what are you doing this weekend? No, actually went back there. It was the first storm. And I went out with Andrew, my wife, and our friend Quinn, and we shoveled out some seniors, not realizing who I was. I said, I'm your councilman. Like, let me buy you coffee. I'm like, no money. Can't accept money. We can accept homemade wine, that's good, can't take any money. And the person wasn't getting it that I was elected. She's like, oh, well, can I call you next time to come show? I'm like, absolutely. So anyway, I never ask anyone to do something I'm not willing to do myself. So Arjun was mad at me for not inviting her to shovel.
Oh.
I said, well, you work for me. I'm pretty sure if you get hurt, it's a workers' comp case. I don't want to get into that. She was out there with ice pick, and it's actually Ron and Renee Cassidy's ice pick, which she still has, by the way. So we're gonna hold on to that, I think. Ice pick, chipping up the ice outside the senior building on Grandview, with Luke Mom, another one of my aides. So we're really hands on. I started by saying I'm in your face to the point of hopefully being obnoxious about being your councilman. That's the kind of service that we're gonna do, and we'll get to clean up 2 weeks too.
Very good. Thank you.
Hi again. My question is there any way without spending extra money that you can expand the hours of the Residents Response Center? When they first came on years ago, they were like 8 to 6. Now it's sort of like 9 to 5, but I've called at like 11 o'clock. Please leave us a message. So either it's not enough personnel or I don't know what's going on, but the hours need to be expanded because like any problem or issue you have with DPW, you can't call DPW directly anymore. You got to go through the Residents Response Center. So is there a way that you could do that? And also because you're the Ward C council person, it seems like every other neighborhood gets lost. I know this is the JSQCA, but could you just highlight some of the things you're working on in other parts of Ward C? Because like I'm in Ward C in the Heights and I feel like we get lost in Journal Square.
Yeah, sure. So for our resident response, a lot of they're great people.
Yeah,
they don't have enough staff.
Right.
But a lot of times what they do is they forward me issues to figure out anyway.
Okay.
So I don't know what the future of RRC is.
Okay.
Or C-Click Fix. I know what I'm working with in the meantime, which is to make sure C-Click Fix complaints don't get closed out without actual resolution, which happens a lot. And so I'll email direct when why was this closed? I'm looking at the mattress on the sidewalk still. That was my example I gave from years ago. It's still true, unfortunately. I don't know what the future will be there. I know just call me any time of the day. That's the time of day. We'll get the director on the phone. And I work with a lot of fantastic people in the city, a lot of great directors who, I annoy at all hours of the day. So I expect you to annoy me at the same time. So I'm in the middle. Actually, this was not, I drew up JSQCA's home, but this was not my first community meeting. We're hosting one in every neighborhood, even for neighborhoods that don't have an association, doing condo buildings, going around. The reason we started our ward walks in the Heights was because people in the Heights forget their Ward C because they've been.
I didn't even know you had one in the Heights. I found out after the fact.
Well, we're gonna advertise the next one, which is the April 25th, it'll either be before or after the Charlesburg cleanup.
Okay.
Again, the reason we went to the Heights, we worked on infrastructure projects, Pershing Field renovations.
Including the dog run.
Jake, Councilman Efros and I went up to take a tour with friends of the Garden Friends of Pershing Field, looking at potential locations. We looked at the carnival up there, looked at the potential of the dog run, of multi-purpose fields up there. So it's all things we're looking at that will impact everyone in the Heights. And the Marion section, we're looking at the new library branch. Yeah. So I had a community meeting 2 weeks ago in the Marion section. I'm actually going there on, is it Friday?
Yeah, next one.
Friday, the 17th, they were going there to talk about the shooting. It's open to everyone. Please come. We'll advertise it this week. But I was there and someone said, we need good retail. We need a bakery. We need a laundromat. We need, or dry cleaners. I said, show hands. Who has gone to the Target or raised their hands? I said, regardless of whether you like Target or not, or if you like we built the building, that's unrelated to the fact that we have a Target down Gerald Square, that's necessary. But I said, by show of hands now, who knows who had a big enough footprint for a 40,000 square foot store that it had become Target? No one raised their hand. I said, we didn't. We didn't have any of it in Journal Square or Ward C. And we built it. So I said this during the campaign. I'm happy to demonize people who do development. They're an easy target, but at some point I'm going to have to ask them to build us a school, to build infrastructure, put a target in. So I maintain, we have to maintain a good relationship as long as it's fair. So long as everyone's acting fairly and under the same rules. That's why the CAP committee is so great, because they have honest dialogue with people who are presenting development projects. But that's the kind of infrastructure that we need to start thinking about too.
Thank you.
Hi, Tom.
Hey.
So I have a comment and I have a question. So my comment is about the parking enforcement. I totally support all the voices of people complain that there's no enforcement. However, I park on the city operating parking lot. And in the past maybe 4 weeks, I received 3 parking tickets for parking without permit, for not paying the meter.
Which slide?
54. So I'm gonna waste court's resources fighting those tickets, but they give me them faster than I'm even like claiming them, like disputing them online. So this is madness, and I think they don't know what they're doing. So maybe the mayor said something, they said it like policy more, but they don't have updated machines. I don't know how they even check who paid. Like it's a mess, and I'm gonna waste court's resources just to fight that. That's annoying, and that's not the first time. And my question is maybe a little bit naive, but back to Target. Like after they built those towers in Journal Square, it became extremely, extremely windy. I think everyone agreed, especially in the winter.
Of course, it's
So the air dynamics study, whatever, was done and was neglected. Is there any way to put it on the developer to put some sort of like art object, something that would block the wind in any way? Maybe again, maybe super naive, but it's super necessary and maybe beautiful potentially.
Yeah.
Something that would change that dynamics in the tunnel.
Urban Canyon.
Regarding the parking issue, someone texted me today, like, oh, I got 12 tickets, can I use your name? I was like, no, you can't use my name.
That was not a point. I was surprised to know that.
I was suggesting where I was like, there's a culture change as being councilman now, right? So no. If you didn't take it unfairly, or you think you didn't take it unfairly, and you have evidence, for example, you shoveled in front of your house, you got a ticket anyway. Let me know, present the evidence to me, and I can't go to court. Even though I'm aware I can't participate, I don't participate in Jersey Municipal Court anymore. I can't put my name as councilman behind, to get rid of a ticket for you. But what I can do is tell the director, hey, can you take a look at this ticket? Here's some evidence that was presented. It's going to be presented in court to save the court's resources too. So if you have, there's an issue with that part, for example, if there's an issue with that parking, enforcement, let me know. I'm happy to tell the director and say, I have a problem here.
They advise me to have two options, to go to court or to go to that MLK Boulevard where they sit in the office and to meet the supervisor. Do you think they can dismiss the tickets there without going to court? I'm happy to go to that, what, dismiss it.
Okay, so Jersey City had a ticket fixing scam.
That's what.
8 years ago.
Yeah.
Longer. So they can no longer fix tickets. Well, I'm sorry.
Because they give me tickets every week. I cannot go to court every week. That's just a bit of, too much work.
Again, I don't have before me, the proper procedure is if you want to fight something like that, you have evidence, I can present it to the director and they'll make a recommendation to the prosecutor's office to handle it in the proper court procedure. But it has to go to court.
So the court is, okay.
It has to go to court. Yeah.
And the wind?
Oh, the wind, yeah, sure. So, development Journal Square, sometimes some of the buildings look like there wasn't really a plan for them. And they kind of plopped down by themselves. For example, we don't have retail in certain stores or, we have 3 cafes within a stone's throw of each other, right? That's kind of the planning in advance that I'm trying to focus on now. So in terms of wind, it perhaps just didn't think about it yet, but we'll add it to we have an architect in the room. So perhaps we'll add it to some of the planning.
To the future project or to this one?
Definitely for the future ones, but I don't know what you can do for existing projects, but I'm happy to have the planning department look into it.
You could Google urban canyon. It has everything to do with tall buildings and the funneling of wind and
Was it Chris Help? Yeah.
So we need more trees in Journal Square. Yeah. Again, the journal building, you would have thought that their pool is a wind pool, like a whirlpool. It's not, it's the wind blowing. So they didn't plan ahead. And they have to figure it out that so we don't want the furniture blowing off the side of the roof, side of the building. That'd be terrible. So yes, it's incredibly dangerous. So we'll have them look into options to make the building safer.
Okay, thank you.
We'll hopefully add more trees too.
Tom, you mentioned that no one had asked you about the lows here, so here's the question.
Thank you, Bill.
Can you give us an update? And one question I have in particular is, what about parking for people coming from out of town to attend events at the Lowe's? What kind of parking might there be for them?
Great question. So in terms of parking, and this is a great argument that's just specific to Journal Square, is when you ask if there's parking in new buildings. The Journal Square Towers parking, residential parking is empty. And they should look into making that commercial. Target has parking. The Journal building has parking for its residents. They should make that open to the public. That'll solve a lot of our parking concerns.
It's actually, the city prevented them from making public parking. So there's got to be some sort of legal agreement with the council.
Yeah.
For someone to.
Yeah, there's a sales tax component to it too, so we'll have to work it out, but there's a lot of parking. One thing that is very true in Jersey City, is true of any city, is you probably cannot park right next to where you want to go. And I know that's frustrating.
You take the path.
Well, yeah, and path service needs improvement too, that's a different story. But if you are someone who has mobility issues, that's why we have to plan a drop-off area, handicap parking. Those are all things we should be working on. But it's very unlikely unless you have a driveway, you're going to be able to park right where you are intending on going. We are a major city. We're the second largest city in the state, and a large city. So we're going to alleviate the fact that there's no public parking, because we have people coming out, hopefully out of town, visiting our attractions, and maybe won't be taking the path or transit. But to add in the heart of Journal Square more residential parking projects is probably not a good idea.
Yeah. And what about programming at the Lowe's? And one is, I read that it's scheduled to open this fall. So
yes, the interior of the Lowe's is beautiful right now. So as it always was. What's taking so long is that the carpenters are handcrafting and hand molding things that as they were previously to restore them to its prior glory inside the Lowe's. I took a tour. I don't know if anyone saw the mayor's post last week. He took a tour. It's 80 feet of scaffolding, going up to the roof. It's really fantastic. So I spoke to the construction team. They anticipate opening in the late fall, so September, October. The only caution I would have with the timeline is that they haven't announced any opening acts yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, there's supposed to be opportunities for community programming.
Yeah,
which would be
so
through
the
Friends
reason that thing with Friends of the Lows had at least 55 days of programming. That's the movies, that's the concerts, that's the things that Friends of the Lows have done well for so long. I actually had lunch with Colin and Patty on Sunday, and we discussed some of those things. And I told them, I'll tell all of you, make no mistake about it. If not for the Friends of the Lows, we would not have a Lowe's Theater to open.
Yes.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and so we can't forget that those contributions or the fact that they should be able to program successfully in the future. That's something that the mayor and I anticipate talking to the mayor about on Thursday when I meet with them. That I am concerned that you get in the big commercial operator.
Yeah.
Forget the small people, small operator.
Okay, thank you.
We can just get a Zoom in question.
Thanks. Two questions. One is, sure, I'll do that one first, which is when will the Magnolia Walkway reopen?
Hopefully by September as well. Yeah. I'm really upset about that. A lot of us were at the JCRA meeting, and they're like, oh, we'll work on it. And they closed it the next day.
Yeah, it's taken under consideration. And then the next one is sidewalks along Connolly Avenue over the path tracks and leading to the bridge are impassable for people with mobility impairments and very difficult to traverse for those of us pushing strollers or rotary cars. This has been flagged to the city multiple times for well over a year, yet the conditions continue to deteriorate. What can be done to address this, including the awful state of the sidewalk as a parcel that is privately owned at 158 to 166 and Wagner next to Taco Airport?
Oh, yeah, on Tunnelly Avenue, right where you could see the overpass of the path. That is horrible on that side, yeah.
Oh, it's Wagner.
On Tunnelly.
158 to 166.
Yeah, well, yeah, like that.
Right where the laundromat is, right across the street.
Right.
Yep.
Both sides.
So that bridge, the quote unquote, the Rainbow Bridge. Yeah. So good news, Pat's replacing that.
Oh, the other bridge, sorry, not the one near
Tunnel.
Panko, the one on Connolly Avenue.
Tunnelly.
Roadway to Newark.
Elkhorn has the mural on it too.
Yeah, right by the laundromat.
All right, I'll just put a request in that the sidewalk needs to be fixed.
Cause that's been, lingering for a year.
Okay, I'll make note of that, yeah, no problem. Oh, it's sidewalk, it's not Kumar property, it's the Machado site. The new building in the corner there, yeah, the sidewalks are narrow. If you live over there and you had water disruption last week, I posted about it on Avon Pavonia. There was a quote unquote emergency work being done. And they're gonna be better at notifying you in the future. And if they don't let me know, I'll make sure they're better at it.
And then just as a heads up, we have about another 30 minutes, give or take. I know some folks take the bus, so it is 8:30, so I want to let you know.
I'm here about midnight, come on.
Hi again, Councilman. Wanted to ask you about, I know your office and Councilman Efforts' office has been involved in conversations with Sustainable JC about the Van Kuren facility where they're trying to propose a transfer station that would invite more truck traffic and pollution to our neighborhood. Just wanted to hear what is the latest? This would be a terrible move for the neighborhood, for the Heights as well. So wanted to just hear what's the latest with that recycling or transfer plan.
Sure, great question. So the Van Kuren site, the biggest fight right now is moving the location of the public meeting. It's next Tuesday at 6 p.m. at the Moose Lodge, which is a great location, but not really relevant to any of us here in this neighborhood. That's what we're working on right this second, and then we'll take public comment and we'll even if you can't make the meeting, let me know. I'm happy to get people out. Yeah, question.
Can we have some education in advance of that meeting? I've heard a lot of different numbers about the number of trucks and where they're coming from, but it seems like 300 trucks is a number that's being kind of put in the air, which seems like
outrageous number of trucks. I will get as much information as I can out of this entity, to share with all of you.
I don't think a lot of people even know about it.
We'll put out a graphic by the end of the week, or by the end of the week, what's going on, and I'll do it with Jake's office too. What's going on, what you need to know, and when you can come and voice concern.
And I think the key thing is, are these trucks coming into Jersey City, or are they already trucks that are around Jersey City? And it seems like many of these are new heavy trucks coming into Jersey City from outside of Jersey City.
Yeah, I'll find out. I'll find out. Yeah, they kind of blindsided the city with it too. Yeah, or at least the council with it. The number of trucks detailed in that.
Where they're coming
Where
from.
they're coming from, the routes, and then obviously the location of the meeting.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, you mentioned boulevard drinks in that development, but during the CAP meeting, I asked if anybody spoke to the owner of the Egyptian restaurant on the second floor.
Yeah, same concerns. They did not have direct contact. If you have contact information for the owner, you can reach out to the developer and work out something hopefully.
Okay, and you mentioned about parking. There's, I don't know if this will actually work, but as a community inside Detroit, Hamtramck, Michigan, they actually in the business district have parking meters that have cameras on.
Yeah.
And once it's over, it takes a picture, you get a ticket in the mail. I don't know about it work here, but.
That's money.
Yeah, something like that's on my wish list. We'll see what they can allow, but certainly there's a lot of revenue to be made on parking.
Pedro will do it.
That's good, thanks. I wasn't gonna bring this up, but since the shooting in Marion got discussed twice, there was a shooting, speaking of Van Kuren, on Duffield Avenue, which is, I don't know, less than a quarter mile from my building,
So Easter Sunday.
half a week before that. And I brought this up at the captain's meeting. The captain said, oh, it's an anomaly, it's not gonna happen again. Well, bullshit, because that came out of a car meetup, and those have been going on since COVID. And they will come to the traffic circle and they'll drive down Tenley to Newark Avenue, and then they'll cut down to 109, and they'll just go in a circle around and around and around for hours. And then they're drag racing on 109 and on the Skyway. And if you call dispatch and tell them blah, 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 they say, what's the address? What's the address? I hear it out my window. Send a car over here and you'll hear it. And then I found out that there's another issue in the Heights on a postal road in front of the blue building, motorcycles. And they call the police and the police are not doing anything. Now, this is a big problem. I don't know if we need to get the state police in here because these are involved with state roads, but we have to get some attention to this, and this has to be stopped because this could be a very, very bad thing.
Yeah, I agree.
That's it.
So yes, I agree, and we need more attention here.
Yeah, but I mean, they haven't paid any attention to it. And I just can't believe the dispatch people. What's the address? And the guy in the Heights told me he has actually given them GPS coordinates and they still don't send anybody. We have to have enforcement.
We have a new commander, captain in the North District starting, just so everyone knows.
Yesterday, right?
Yes,
Or today?
that was last week, so.
Ian, he's not there yet. I think he's supposed to start today. Ian, and I don't remember his last name.
So Ian Gallagher and Lieutenant Fernandez will be the executive officer. I recommend having a meeting with them too.
I think so too. Okay.
While on the question line here, I will say,
We have four actually, but go ahead.
oh, I was saying, I mentioned the Pompidou earlier, so I know the mayor was here last month.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he was asked questions about the future of the Pompidou site. So what the city has announced thus far with KRE is in exchange for the two pilots they received for the two towers, to have affordable units in one of the towers. The number to be determined, but also I'm fighting and will continue to fight for a rec center, a community center, I should say, a community center on the side of the Pompidou. Will it be 85,000 square feet? Probably not, but big enough to house multi-story house with 1 or 2 floors, office space, meeting space for seniors on the 2nd floor, maybe space for musicians and artists, and then on the ground floor, it's big enough for a basketball court or other rec center. I don't want to give up this opportunity for much needed community space. So we're not getting the Pompidou, which is long gone. At least we'll get some sort of community space in Journal Square, which is very needed. I'd love to have some recreation there, but it's to be determined. But I just want to bring that up. I mentioned 808 Pavilion and Pompidou earlier, but neglected the. So again, stay tuned. But that's a big thing I'm pushing with the mayor's office.
It would be free for the residents.
Oh yeah, it'd be city-run facility. Yeah. So whatever financial condition we're in currently, again, by the time this is built, I would hope that we're out of it by then. Again, with all the economic growth we're seeing. So I don't want to. The big key projects I don't want to miss out on are again Courthouse Place, Courthouse Park, and then the Pompidou space being a rec center. What do we need more city, right? We need a drill square, we need community space, we need a senior center, we need recreation space. We can all fit that into whether it's 10,000 square feet or around there.
I have a follow-up about the Pompidou. Was the developer going to profit in any way from Pompidou? Oh, okay. All right, that's all.
Yeah, so all right, so the original Pompidou plan, which was passed by the prior council, was 2 tax abatements, 1 for each tower at 808 Pavonia, which is about a 1,200 unit project. In exchange, they would build an 85,000 square foot 2-story structure. I think it's 2-story structure. That the city would then take ownership of and build out the Pompidou Museum. The city costs would be to build out, paying the Pompidou, Center Pompidou to come here, and then all the associated costs there. The developer would benefit from the fact that they have 2 tax abatement properties, and the fact that they're sitting on top of a French art museum or French cultural experience, and would drive up rents.
I see. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure because if they were not if the museum was not paying them and then now they were profiting from affordable housing still, like collecting rent, then maybe there would have to be an adjustment to the tax abatement.
Right, so the tax abatement will have to be reworked, the financial agreement, so it's gonna come back before the council. So I'll either update you or there's certainly a conversation about it when it comes before the council.
If it's still gonna be 30 years?
I would imagine, so I don't know though. I haven't seen it yet.
So we have 4 questions from Zoom, and I think that will basically be it. And then I'll make some announcements, including 2 victories that JSPCA had, thanks to the work of some of the committees. And then that will be that. Cool. So Zoom, go for it.
All right, first question is what's happening with the tree in Bergen Square? This person's been dead for some time. Another person in the chat said it was dormant, so I'm just wondering if you had any updates on that.
There's a note on it.
Is there any more information on where the tree is located?
It's the one that's by the Lear's place.
Sort of 80 Bergen, right? Yeah.
I
Okay.
think there's a note on it.
Really?
It says
I'll pass by there, but it's on the southeast corner of, like diagonally across from Seatown.
What the bank used to be, Bank of America?
Yeah.
installed, they redid it.
Bergen Square is great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's enjoying it. One of the store owners, real quick, one of the store owners was upset with me, upset about the kids playing in front of the store. I think kids should kick the ball or make any mistakes or accidents or anything like that. And but as I was leaving this poor person, I started playing with the kids. So I couldn't help myself.
They have nowhere to go.
No, the need for a rec center. Sorry, John.
Yeah.
I'll find out about the tree. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I remember when they put it in, it had like a giant black.
Yeah, you got like a black X or something. Like
And
that. Yeah.
it never really.
I'll do it.
They cropped it out of the video when they did the ribbon cut, but. Second question is about the 2 parks on Route 139. Is there a timeline for when those are gonna be opened?
There's not yet, but hopefully soon. And they're making progress on it. I'll get a timeline.
And I think you kind of answered this. It was about essentially what can be done to include more affordable housing within Journal Square and sure that current construction, future construction includes affordable apartments. So
Yeah, that's the number one issue every person who campaigned in the last election ran on. And I would have had an amendment ready to go on January 15th, but obviously wanted the mayor and his administration to get feel for it, and we're working together on it. But those numbers I gave you are real numbers. I don't know what the rest are, but if we work together we can accomplish it. Look at 701 Newark, it's 25% affordable. The highest affordable unit is a $1,600 3-bedroom, which is unheard of in Journal Square. We need more housing that'll stabilize the rents. And Journal Square is the epicenter for the affordable housing fight. We have it in place through our redevelopment plan. We have the amendments ready to go. We have the density in Journal Square proper to do. I mean, the problem is all this density went up without any affordable units. There's enough projects where we can be equitable about it, make sure we keep our residents in their homes. That's why, again, I don't like necessarily the studio apartments or the micro units, because it's not serving the people who are being displaced.
Yeah, and it's not building community.
It's not building community.
It's like a dorm room.
Right. So that's something I'm involved in conversations. So, I mean, Journal's in this association, going to lead on affordable housing. I'll be there for it.
George, is that it from Zoom?
pretty much.
Okay, just, let's get one in, and then I know you had your hand up, so we'll get you into this next one.
All right, next one is, speaking of construction sidewalks, what can be done to ensure the developers provide safe pedestrian access along construction sites as required by city codes?
Yeah, at the end of the last administration, a construction code task force was going out to actually enforce our construction code. The better answer is if you see an issue, let me know. I contact inspectors and the division leaders, division heads to go ensure there's no issue. There's a problem during the storms with a project over here and the sidewalk being blocked. But every construction site's supposed to have scaffolding to protect pedestrians. It's supposed to have clear walkways. If you don't see that, let me know and we'll make sure they get stop work order.
I have two questions.
You had more than that when I saw you on Saturday. I was ready to see what you haven't asked any questions yet.
Myself.
Okay.
We're talking about the clean neighborhoods and stuff like that. I have a major issue. In my neighborhood. Stuyvesant and Kennedy Boulevard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There's 5 stores there, 5 different types of stores. None of them clean their property. I'm out there twice a week, cleaning the sewer grates, sweeping from decap all the way down to Stuyvesant, cleaning up their mess and stuff. Because it all winds up blowing down the block into my driveway. So I have a neighbor that kicks the garbage off a sidewalk into the street. What is the point of that? Pick it up. But nothing on the boulevard in those stores are being enforced to clean up. We have the civic school across the street. Their garbage is always out on the sidewalk, never gets picked up. Their boxes are in the boulevard. And the other question is the illegal Airbnbs that are going on to Journal Square.
Yeah.
So we're talking about affordable housing and they're getting away with it?
Do you have the addresses?
Yes.
I'll take them from you, absolutely.
Okay.
Please.
She's right about the garbage though, between DeKalb and Stuyvesant. It's kind of
And
frightening.
the gang that hangs out there.
The gang on the corner of
Yes.
DeKalb.
So that is a two or three prong approach. One is the safety component of it. The West District sent cars constantly, but they're not showing up or they're not getting the job done. Yeah, so that's something
Yeah.
to track, right? There's that. Also, again, I talked earlier about the enforcement of store owners and property owners, make sure the fines actually are meaningful.
The city can is gone. It's been gone.
Yeah, and we're adding new garbage cans. That's something we're doing for the heights too, that we're renting garbage cans in the sidewalk. Record.
The Boulevard Mart people with the gang, I'm gonna say that, on the corner of DeKalb, like, they're too afraid to go out and say, don't leave your garbage here.
Protect his store, so he doesn't harass them.
Yeah, it's like the group that hangs out there, you know, like, just so that there was a fight inside one day. Ashley was in the store, she ran for an ice, she ran in the back. It was a nightmare, but there was a major fight, but they're afraid, so they allowed them to come in and go. They've even, the guy at the Boulevard Mart has even given them like a free bottle of beer just to be nice and be friends outside so that his glass windows aren't broken. But when Olszewski was around, I don't know if he's moving. They drove by a few times, one night after a meeting that was, and then no one really sees them again. That apartment building on Highland to Glenwood, Highland to DeKalb, the people that live on the DeKalb side, like they can't even open their windows. Like they come to me because my father used to be that person on Highland Avenue, and I'm like, my father died and I can't help. What are we gonna do? But it's a big, that's a meeting in and of itself. But one of these days we'll have a block party.
No, so it's not getting attention there. So
Yeah.
we had there was a jewelry store robbery in India Square. And also some of the residents, members of this group had showed concern about street safety. So the police put a post there, and I just want to get some numbers of that happened here. I'll look for them while I answer the next question. But the fact, there we go. This was March 23rd. After actually putting attention on something, this is what the police were able to accomplish. This was 1 week. 4 motor vehicle stops, 15 double parking tickets, 1 block candy cast spot, 4 prohibited parking, 1 improper parking, 2 blocking the hydrant, 1 block sidewalk, 1 block crosswalk. 36 summonses in the last 3 days. No, sorry, yeah, 36 summonses in 3 days, 65 in a week. And that's what we get when we put the proper attention on things in our ward.
Yeah.
Again, things aren't perfect. I can't snap my fingers and change everything, but I hope you're seeing progress.
Oh, I see a lot of progress.
So we're gonna get some attention over there too.
So we'll do you and then close out with Zoom with the questions from the.
There was a mention of Airbnbs, and I was thinking with the World Cup coming up, there's people talking about you could make $6,000 a night. Some Airbnbs, a big question. And I was just curious, as a recent property owner, I looked up the Airbnb ordinance. I saw it because I'm in a 9-unit building. I don't qualify because it's only the 4-unit building. So I was just curious if the council would be opening to maybe changing the Airbnb rules just for the time that the World Cup is in action to maybe allow some potential residents to take advantage of that situation.
Yeah, I remember years ago that was actually debated here. I don't think I was on the board yet, but I debated the position against the Airbnb, the addition of Airbnbs because of the abuse that was going on.
Yeah.
So it would have to be really narrowly tailored to avoid the kind of abuse we still see.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting time. Yeah, during the World Cup, it's going to be all the transportation. There'll be little things going on.
Yeah, real quick side of the World Cup, Journal Square is going to have host one of the games. Somebody somewhere in the square, a screen will go up. Here's the date, let me know.
We should do a big
block. One for Egypt playing to encourage a lot of our residents that
That's nice.
Come out to the square and enjoy their heritage. There's a great game about Morocco. Team Morocco is a good team. We have a large Moroccan population. It's mostly Ward D, but here in C too. So we're going to be enjoying hopefully the festivities. Stay tuned on that.
All right, and I have 2 orthogonal parking questions. One member wants to know if the city could build a garage or rent out existing parking garages for residents. Another member asks about a half tower at 500 Summit and whether the city could rescind that agreement that gave some of the Hilltop Neighborhood Association their dedicated parking there.
So the half was the 500 Summit, which I mentioned earlier. There's a settlement agreement there that the city will have to enforce. There's a lot to unpack there. I know the Hilltop, this association should be involved with as well, and I'll be involved in too. Parking deck is interesting. So again, a lot of spots in our current municipal garages are empty. This conversation I had with the business owners in India Square is, we have no parking. Well, are your lots full? The answer is no, right? So I'm happy to get more public parking. We have more cars on the road than we've ever had. I have a car, my wife has a car, we park in public garage, but that's what we have additional cars to drive. There's no easy solution, but we'll figure something out to try to, one, alleviate the number of cars on the road, but also to make sure you do have somewhere to park. It's just, again, if you're going in the city to your destination, you may not be able to park exactly where you're looking to go. But there are public lots available, and I think in the heart of Journal Square, where we are now, you should get the residential spots transitioned into public parking.
Which is the public garage with arguments for months?
How much?
How much is the parking garage for months? That one is like probably like $500 a month.
So right now, so the drill square one, I don't know how much drill square path lot is monthly, do I know that? I walked this one. Yeah. That's expensive, probably like one of the public lots like $275 a month.
Oh my God.
I see it's like 400 for the residents. And then after the polls, they said for 320 we can take.
That's crazy, yeah.
That's why it's.
The one that's next to the supermarket was $250, I think.
And the city lot is cheaper, but you know, comes
Yeah.
with its own issues. It comes with a lot of marketing.
George,
It's insane.
sorry. Any additional ones from Zoom?
And last question before I go, I'm
Okay,
making myself
any question?
No, but thank you. 2 hours is pretty good.
back and then front, yeah.
Just curious about the Summit House. You've seen some plans, like, are they gonna, that's an historic building.
There's a 30-foot distance between where they can build and Summer House.
And would they bring the Summit House to there would be a lobby or something?
I don't think so. I think it should be the existing building.
Separate owner.
It's owned separate. It's not owned by the current developers yet.
Separate lot, separate batch.
Yeah, so things made to make sure it's protected by the development. So as we learned, when you pile drive, you do damage to the surrounding building. So that at the powerhouse downtown too, at 808 Pavilion.
Is there anything we do to make your life easier? We appreciate what you do.
Walk with
That's
him.
the question.
Yeah.
Make sure I know what's going on. I try as much as I can to be out there. Like I said, we're knocking doors at least twice a month. Maybe we'll expand that if it's popular. Get more involved in different ways. Next June will be committee races. Well, in fact, committees.
All right.
If you're interested, please let me know. I would love to lead a ward city of motivated, active residents. But you're all busy, right? You all live lives outside the public eye, so there's very. Again, I won't ask you to do much, but keep me informed. And if you, I won't always do the right. Well, I'll always try to do the right thing. I won't always make you happy, sure.
Right.
But I will always have a conversation about it. So if you're mad, call me. And I'll make my life easier. Thank you for asking me. Yeah. Bill.
Bill, and then we'll end with this. Yeah.
So, John, do you know the status of the construction at Bayfront, in particular the affordable units there? And I believe there's going to be a light rail station there. But I remember suggesting years ago to Mayor Fulham that there should be a light rail line from Bayfront to Journal Square. Do you think that's at all feasible?
Great question. Maybe perhaps my most honest response to the evening, I don't know. But I do know the Bayfront project is able because of our relationship with the county. They're coming in big with a bond. And I don't know when they're going shovels in the ground in Bayfront, but I anticipate soon. That's a great project. But yeah, it's amazing what happens when you have workable relationships with other government entities.
Right.
Here, and then I think I missed someone else over here, but, okay, so we'll go here then. There.
A question regarding the Rainbow Bridge. There was rumors that they were gonna make a pass station.
Oh, the Marriott stop, yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to see a Marriott stop there. It's mind blowing when having a conversation with Path. Or with Barthor, I should say, about their plans. Like, okay, let's talk future. Our future is what Journal Square look like in the next 5, 10, 15 years. They're 20, 30 years down the line. And I'm like, well, you're gonna be dealing with a different council person by then, I'm sure. So the Rainbow Bridge, they told me 2029. Good news is they're gonna replace it by 28. One of the developers who's developing along Broadway donated $500,000 to the project.
Right.
That was unrelated to me. I won't take credit or blame for that. It's just they're doing that, so we're gonna get the bridge replaced. They drilled holes into it so it doesn't flood. So it's cleaner, because when it rain, the water gets stuck there. I don't foresee a Marriott station anytime soon, but it would be great to add to that community as well.
Because that's a heck of a walk coming up from Tunnelly Avenue. Now that the alleyway's closed, it's even that much harder.
Yeah.
You have to go all the way around the boulevard.
So yeah, this was an idea that came up, my Gary meeting last week or 2 weeks ago, was to have, the new buildings kick in for a shuttle bus. Not one per building like you see at the Beacon or other places, but to have a community one open to the public.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
So to discourage people from bringing their cars.
Mhm.
Because there's that concern, it's too far from the path, and it'll bus people up, to the path, so it's something that I'm hoping hoping they're willing to do, I'm gonna work up to.
I think I missed one person here and then we'll wrap up. Okay.
You say you go to the Irving Square Park all the time, like you were there today. Oh, has anybody confronted you about the damage that's been done there?
So, no, sorry, I do enjoy going there, I haven't gone, I don't go every day. You mean to the stores?
No, to the CD, to the slates on top of the walls.
Oh, people said, yeah, they need to fix it, yeah. They need to fix it, the city needs to fix that stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's a community square, so we wanna bring people to it. But, for whatever reason, the top part's broken on some of the slates, yeah, that's on my radar. There's,
Concrete and steel.
so that's it.
Concrete and steel.
Yeah. So, one quick update is, again, I have some business cards on hand, but all of you mostly have my phone number already, easily accessible to all of you. And I pride myself on being so, but if you know anyone, high school or college, students who want an internship or accepting applications until May 4th or 5th of the summer. It's unpaid, but, there'll be, community service hours or externship hours available. Feel free to have them send the resume to my email. It's on our website, city website, jcnj.org, which is my first initial last name at jcnj.org. Otherwise, it's been a pleasure being here. I'll go back again.
Oh, yes.
I don't want to leave you, but, I'm gonna do so.
HCC might have, a thing or two, isn't it? But thank you, Councilman Zuppa. I think this has been a pleasure.